This summer, I cut out sugar from my diet as a registered dietitian, and it completely changed a lot of things for me. Not only my perspective on cravings and willpower, but also what we think that we need to just survive. So here's what happened. I decided to try something different. You may know about it if you've been following me for a while, but I did a whole foods experiment and then I went full carnivore. Now, the reasoning behind this, it wasn't really about trying to eliminate sugar specifically, but on both diets, I naturally had to cut out all added sugar. And carnivore, something really crazy started happening when I did this. The less sugar I consumed, the less I craved it, like dramatically less. I'm talking about someone who grew up eating sweets constantly. Like every time I had lunch, I had to have something sweet afterwards. And I thought I had this incurable sweet tooth. So here's what's actually happening in your brain. So sugar triggers dopamine release in your reward system. And with repeated exposure, your brain becomes, well, let's just call it less sensitive. And that's just simply called tolerance. Just like more addictive substances, let's say caffeine or something like this, you need more sweetness to get the same reward effect. It gets worse though. Regular sugar consumption can also disrupt your natural hunger and your satisfaction signals. And then you add stress to this recipe, which releases cortisol and ghrelin, and your brain becomes conditioned to seek even more sugar for the same soothing effect. A bit of a biological trap. Now, there's studies to support this in both animal and humans. In animals, for example, studies show that excessive sugar consumption create long-term changes in the neural circuitry affecting motivation and reward. And then in the human clinical evidence, it confirms that people who regularly consume a lot of sugar, they require higher concentrations of sweetness just to feel satisfied. This honestly made me realize that most of our sugar consumption isn't some biological need or genetic predisposition, even though there is a mindset component in my opinion too. It's mostly our brain's reward system being hijacked. When people say I have a sweet tooth or I can never live without sugar, well, part of it is yes, maybe like your upbringings and like your relationship with food, but it's also your dopamine receptor stalking, not really your true needs most of the time. The good news is you can reset this. And I went the intense restriction route for my experiment, but you can also reprogram your sweetness threshold if you think about it through gradual reduction. Maybe strategic breaks from added sugar or replacing processed sugars with natural sources. Now, the key here is understanding it's mostly neurological and not always a personal failure. My results, well, better body composition, stable energy, you eat less in general, you have more mental clarity, but most importantly, I kind of broke free from that cycle where I feel like I needed something sweeter and sweeter just to feel normal. I can actually taste and enjoy natural sweetness again in a much better way. I put together something really cool for you guys. It is a science-based sugar reduction guide, completely for free, that walks you through resetting your sweetness threshold without extreme restriction. You just need to drop the word sugar down below and I'll slide into your DMs to send you this free resource immediately.